My marriage lasted for 15 years. I was 8 years old when I first met my wife. Together, we have 3 girls, ages 17, 14, and 11. I'm over being treated like an outsider in every relationship I have. To my kids, I'm just an ATM and a cab service. It has been 6 months since my wife last kissed me, and it has been 1.5 years since she last expressed her love for me. Regardless of how much I try to organize, communicate, or take action, it is always ignored, disregarded, or shot down. I don't scream or become upset. I don't become aggressive. On Mother's Day and birthdays, I enjoy treating myself. When I attempt to show them how much I love them and plan parties and give them things, all I get in return is a grudging thank you and, if I'm lucky, a side hug that lasts 4.0001 seconds. Father's Day this week marked a breaking point. The house is strangely empty when I wake up. Nothing has been mentioned or put on the calendar or in a letter. I text someone, and they respond, "I took the girls out for a spa day." Don't wait up. And then nothing at all. When it's time for dinner, they leave for their house. I inquire about their day. I asked what they wanted for supper, and they said, it was fine. It's cool, whatever. Nothing, we already ate at one of my favorite restaurants. Nothing about Father's Day, nothing about I love you, how are you, nothing. Let's go back to Wednesday, my birthday. Nothing at all, in actuality. Plans I suggested are shot down. I said, food? Nope, go away. When asked if they would like to watch a movie, they all said they were too busy to do anything but sit on their phones. It's Thursday night now. My spouse is beside me in bed. That broke something inside of me. She rolls over and adds, in a horrible tone, "Oh, your birthday was the other day. I guess you expect to have sex." As far as I can recall, I answered, "No, I don't expect it." At this point, I don't expect anything anymore. Her response, "What is that supposed to mean?" I then proceeded to interrogate her, like when was the last time we kissed? For example, a week? Nope, it happened during her parents' holiday dinner in December. When was the last enjoyable night in the bedroom? The start of the calendar year? No, incorrect. More than a year has passed. You may have had sex, but it wasn't with me, I responded, in response to her insistence that we had sex in February when I was coping with my mom's illness and death. When was the last time you said you loved me? Her response, "I say it all the time." You, not to me, check your messages, and you don't say it to me face to face. She replied, "Well, you should just know I do." When was the last time we went on a date? Prolonged silence. Her response, "You're being unfair." Feelings in full capacity. By now, I was crying and getting louder. I questioned her how she is unable to respond. I questioned her how it's unjust to expect any kind of affection from anyone in the house. If it were unjust to expect anything on Father's Day or my birthday. She looked like old sh*T, yeah, you forgot that as well. I'm not an ATM. I'm not a taxi service. I'm not a punching bag. She questioned why this was suddenly coming up. It didn't occur. I've tried to talk to my family, but I'm always ignored or shrugged off. I left, saying something along the lines of, "If you want to pretend that I'm invisible and don't exist, fine. You don't have to pretend anymore." I brought up examples, and I didn't know you were serious, I didn't know it was such a big deal. On Thursday or Friday morning, I left the house around midnight and haven't returned. Now, I don't know what to do. Now that I'm sober enough to think clearly, I'm at a loss for what to do. It was my first time drinking in over 15 years, and I will not be drinking anymore. I'm sorry, but I just can't do this to my family. I'm at a loss for what else to do. Since they already behave as though I don't exist, I believe they would be happier without me. I cannot take full responsibility for anything. If my absence is the real issue, then it should be resolved. I'm at my breaking point. I have made an effort to be a decent father, a decent partner, and a good provider. never skipped a kid-related event, and never gave work priority. In order to spend more time with kids, I kept decent hours and assumed greater responsibility for our present and future. However, it is never enough and is never recognized. I'm never sufficient. That's all I have to say to my wife. We all love you, and we are here for you when you want to come home and talk. I apologize for making you feel that way. Nothing more from the kids, no calls, no texts. They should have tried to get in touch with me more if they truly wanted me there. Every child has a phone of their own. I'm sure they heard me raise my voice, but I have no idea what she told them. Since I seldom do, me raising my voice would have undoubtedly caught their attention. They must have heard me go. Simply said, I'm not sure. I was moved to tears by this. I really apologize for how you were handled. It's unthinkable to disregard Father's Day or my father's birthday, and your wife's remark about anticipating closeness was terrible. You should be happy, so I hope things become better for you. I agree, regardless of the context, the remark that one should anticipate it is impolite, and it gets worse in some situations. Saying what Opie's wife stated is a grave betrayal of a relationship. It's absurd to think anything might make up for a birthday that was entirely disregarded. As for me, I'd much prefer spend my birthday cuddling or watching a movie with my significant other than engaging in sexual activity. It's not that I wouldn't want to do it. Opie, you deserve better. This is just like reading my journal, drat. Opie, I completely understand you. However, I think you should reconsider and return home. You merit the space you contributed to paying for throughout this period. Their energy is matched by yours. Begin by declining. No more parties, no more cab services, and no more ATM withdrawals for your spouse. Turn into a gray stone. Talk back when someone speaks to you. Be a part of the family, but until they treat you better, nobody in that house may provide night services again. Avoid falling for the love bombing. A relationship should be real and last a lifetime, not just a few weeks or months. Don't forget to treat yourself. Use the money you would have spent on them to treat yourself. Go to the gym, play golf, and go out with your friends when you don't drink too much. Take care of yourself and schedule a private spa day. I swear to you, a pedicure, facial, and massage are incredible. If nothing else, you will get a greater sense of self-worth and be more mentally prepared to handle any negative outcomes. Putting everything in order is the final step. If something changes, you'll know within the first 48 hours. If not, get in touch with the attorneys to create a separation agreement and determine what to do next. Luckily for me, circumstances have evolved. Although it's still not ideal, it's improved. I agree with your approach, however I would also suggest that they schedule a counseling session before separating in any way. You can't do much, of course, if your wife won't let it, but it seems like it could be incredibly beneficial for them to learn how to talk to each other. I could also imagine it involving rekindling our friendship and mutual appreciation. I don't see how I can so easily switch overnight if things have been this way for as long as he claims. If it does, then you're correct, that's simply love bombing, but something constructive has to happen. It's not a problem with communication. All she is a horrible wife who ought to be thrown in the next dumpster. Not even close to being at the same stage as a good wife. It would be much simpler to replace her than to teach her how to be decent. Addendum, many thanks to all of you. I figured nobody would give a damn. You've offered me some guidance and hope. I will investigate it. Many of the remarks leave me at a loss for words. Not in words, but I know how. I'm going to make an effort to learn more. My mind is clearer now that I'm sober 100% of the time. On Monday, I'm going to start having meetings with folks to try and come up with ideas. Here's the update. I've been sick, but I'm getting better. It means more to me than you can imagine how much you guys have helped. I was able to obtain assistance from my job. They have access to resources for both legal representation and therapy. It doesn't really matter, but my employer won't leave me alone since he somehow found out that I was reaching out. I am aware of her pure intentions. I've had an appointment with a new therapist, and so far, I like her. I anticipated a lengthy wait list. Since she concentrates more on individuals, she suggested seeing a family spousal therapist. I also spoke with them. I was directed to attorneys for divorce. Though I had to speak with them to have an understanding of what that option would entail, I don't want to utilize them. If it comes out that she is cheating, we are at fault, therefore even though I'll be 70% screwed, I'll be all right. After being frightened for a few days, my kids did reach out. I assured them I was okay, that I really did love and miss them, but that I needed some time and space. I missed a few of their extracurricular events for the first time ever. That, in my opinion, is what finally convinced them that something was seriously off. After noticing, a few additional friends or family members began to inquire with everyone concerned. My kids also stated how my wife was having difficulties and that things were not the same without me. A few times, my wife inquired about the 4th of July and apologized, just checking in and updating me on the situation. Usually, we throw a barbecue or party. I told her I wasn't interested but that I needed to speak with her face to face. That took place the weekend after the 4th. It seems that she was preparing a surprised birthday celebration for me on the 4th, after I had departed, to make up for my forgetting my birthday. However, I wrecked it by not going and showing little interest in it. She brought the kids, so she wasn't by herself when we got together to discuss. It made me glad to see them. I asked to speak alone with my wife, but they looked glad to see me too. She said the kids missed me, and that was okay. We can discuss with them here when I brought this to her attention. In my opinion, it was more of a deceptive tactic. I clarified that this was yet another instance of how my needs and feelings are disregarded, that I have been disregarded for a time, and that nobody should be doing that. She apologized again and again, but I told her that although I appreciated her efforts, I didn't accept them. The most of her apologies, including her first "I'm sorry you feel that way," seemed forced or like they are just expressing what she thinks I want to hear. More is said by deeds than by words alone. In addition, I stated that she is establishing standards for how I should be treated and how our girls should regard me going forward in their relationships. Nobody ought to be treated this way as of right now. My wife may have regretted bringing the children by this point. While my 17-year-old stayed, my 14-year-old took my 11-year-old out for some munchies. I simply inquired if she was physically, emotionally, or in any other way cheating on someone else. She appeared to have been smacked by me. She vowed never to act in such way. I questioned why, given the length of our relationship, she was so insistent on our having sex in February. At this point, the daughter departed. Why did every aspect of our romance end a year after her departure? She was unaware. We continued to speak for 20 more minutes. Upon eventually retrieving 2 of my folders, I found one containing a separation agreement, not quite a divorce, but close enough. The other was individual and couple referrals to therapists. I needed her to know how bad things had gotten and how important it was for her to know. She had to make the choice and set up the appointments, even though I advised her to consider each other and ask herself what she wanted. I told her that if she decided to stay with me, there would be significant changes made to our relationship as well as our home. I was done living this way. I adore the woman I married, raised our children, and created a life with, but I have no idea where she has disappeared to. When my kids returned, my 11-year-old was upset that I wouldn't be spending the evening with him. I gave my spouse some space. The next day, she got in touch with me and said she had scheduled appointments for both her and myself. She clarified that we will begin couples treatment early next month and that she has scheduled some bi-weekly individual therapy. She had to wait in order to establish herself and/or do self-improvement work. Since the first incident, I have been treating her according to your and my therapist's suggestions by using the gray rock approach. Therefore, it's still being worked on. I've come out of my gloomy spot from when I originally posted. There are certain things that have improved. I'm ready to work hard, but it won't be in vain. The fact that there is a plan for the future is positive. Now that I've returned home for a week, I sleep in a separate room. Although some adjustments have already been made, time will tell. In passing, she attempted to make love to me the second night I was back, but I declined, saying it wasn't the right moment or location. It took a lot of work for us to get to that point. Peace, love, and chicken grease as always. When I read your very first post, it broke my heart. I wish I could have hugged you enormously by climbing through the phone. I am really happy for you, Redditor. I'm glad to hear that your therapy is going well, and I'm proud of you for receiving the help you need. However, having witnessed my mother disdain and ignore my father's desires and emotions, I am incredibly proud of you for refusing to back down when she brought your daughters. Finally, nothing was ruined on the fourth barbecue by you. The fact remains that you were harmed, and a party was not going to make things better. Would it have been pleasant? Yes, but I don't think any meaningful change could have been made. I also want to say how admiring you seem as a partner and father. I sincerely hope your family understands that you too deserve to feel appreciated. I would also like to know if she ever got around to planning the birthday. According to the description we have, it appears to be something she tossed out to try to hide her identity and give the impression that she was concerned. It doesn't seem unlikely, but maybe not. She probably didn't want to make arrangements, but nevertheless. Opie said in his first article that when he called it out, she was taken aback and had a oh crap moment. Not to mention that she disregarded his requests to talk on her own. Doesn't seem like a loving partner to me. Nor should the children be given a free pass. All of them have enough experience to know better. They did nothing despite seeing their buddies talking and blogging about Father's Day. They showed no concern. It is just rude and self-centered of any child to not know their parent's birthday, especially if they are an incredible person serving time in prison. Opie, you should treat your kids the way they're treating you, even if it's just for a short while. No presents, no acknowledgement, no work, and explain to them why such a degree of ungraciousness is unacceptable and disheartening. Reduce the number of hours you work and give yourself additional treats. That's probably what the kid's mother has been teaching them. Since they don't witness her showing him love or appreciation, they've undoubtedly internalized it and assumed it's the usual. Not that it shouldn't be fixed, but I believe he is accurate in saying that mom has to be the first to make the necessary corrections. Refusing to show love, particularly to an 11-year-old, seems like a surefire way to make matters worse. Music, I'm a 21-year-old girl, and my 23-year-old boyfriend cheated on me because he controls who has access to his body. My 2-year partner and a 20-year-old female acquaintance who was one of my childhood best friends were having an affair for months, and I found out about it on Thursday. This news has completely destroyed me. The truth is, I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to go past this. I had a deep affection and trust for him. He told me every day that he had never loved anybody as much as me, and then he had the audacity to cheat on me when our relationship was practically perfect. I was crying so badly that I was so out of breath that I could hardly even communicate. I questioned him why he would do this to me and did my best to create a cohesive phrase. He said, "I can choose who has access to my body." What? I've been profoundly disturbed by this, and I still don't understand this circumstance. He texted me today, saying that we don't have to break up and wondering why I should worry that it's his body and not mine. I made an effort to communicate to him my appreciation for his loyalty to me as a vital component of our bond and my promise to be true to him in return. It was never our intention to be polyamorous. He now claims to know how much I like his physical appearance. I never said that, and moving forward in our relationship, I will make no mistake about it. But to be really honest, I don't think I can give him another chance. I genuinely believed that I would be with him for the rest of my life, but after what he did, that notion is completely gone. It's difficult because, although I feel as like I still love him despite his utter violation of me, I can look back and realize that I never cared or loved my previous relationships to the same extent as I do him. Is there anything realistic I can do from here to go with this? You also get to decide that he can't access her heart or your body anymore. To be honest, this is hilarious. It's amusing how awful his excuse is. Close it now, and go on. Opie, you will laugh at this someday, maybe not right now, but you can understand this and you will get over this and him. He had an affair with you. He rationalized it with a weak, foolish explanation. That's it. 3. Your relationship was characterized by a charming exterior that has been torn down. It wasn't a figuratively flawless one. 4. It's time for you to end the relationship. He doesn't desire monogamy, you do. You two are incompatible. His ethics are deficient. He's not a courageous and principled body autonomy warrior, because if he was, he would have told you straight up from the start that he was having an affair with your former best friend, giving you the choice to choose whether or not to continue with him.